Good morning, and welcome back to Cold Waters. And today I'm in the USS Shark, SSN-591, and I have intercepted a submerged contact. Now, I believe that this is my primary contact, which is to engage and destroy. In fact, let me just show you. It's to engage and destroy SSGN, so a Soviet cruise missile carrying submarine. Long and short are, the balloon is not long gone up, where it was the start of World War III, it's 1984, and the Russians are coming. The scenario that as a child was kind of drilled into me. So, our mission is to sink these cruise missile boats, and we're in a skipjack. So it's early on in the war, the crew is not as experienced as I would prefer, and yeah, this mission is going to be a challenge. Early in the war, you tend to get the higher quality boats, or you tend to get the Juliet SSGs, the diesel electrics. So let's see what happens. Check what have I got. So I've got 11 torpedoes, no Mosses. Okay, 11 should be fine. Should be. Okay, well let's hit it. Let's see what happens. Let's do a few things first of all. So, I have a contact off the nose.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 3, 2.
Con, dive at 4, 5 feet, dive high.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as submerged submarine.
It's an Oscar. That's bad news. And it's
Con sonar, Sierra 2 is
by a
classified
November,
as submerged submarine.
which is not bad news. You might be asking yourself, why would the Soviets use a November to escort the Oscar? Well, the November is a much older, louder boat. That's exactly why. You're going to hear the November and assume that that's it.
Con sonar,
Trawler.
Sierra 3 is classified as
Up scope.
Let's pop my sensors up just to see what's up. Okay, so the Oscar's just below the layer, and the November's just above the layer. Okay, nothing else that we can detect. Alright.
Down scope.
The Oscar can't hit me right now. The November can't hit me either. Oscars have got good sensors, very good sensors, and he's coming towards me below the layer. I would suspect that if I drop below the layer, this guy's going to hit me. I don't think I want to be doing that. I really don't want to be doing that at all. And I may have to get a little aggressive here. I think I will. Now, he can dive to 2,000 feet, and I can dive to 700. And behind me is shallower waters, so I could potentially try and flee to the southeast. But I don't think that's really sensible. I'm going to get my depth down.
100 feet.
Depth down to just between 200 to 300 feet. Excuse me. The reason for that is I can do 15 knots below 200 feet without cavitating. And that is potentially very useful. Because 15 knots is quite an important speed for any submarine. At least, okay, not any submarine. But for those submarines that have wire-guided torpedoes, it's a useful speed because that's the
Passing 200
default
feet.
that the game will keep your wire connected. Any more than that and you may lose the wire. Let's see, is he still coming at me? He is, and he is getting close to detecting me. He's not coming right at me, as Todare's got a bit of a... Well, we estimate his Todare can hear me as well. Okay. He's probably doing 8 knots. So I'm thinking a spread right now. I think one right at him, one a little to the port, one a little to the south, and then we're going to bug out. We're probably going to bug out. We're going to go at least parallel. and probably gonna go. I can't see my default's to go west because normally I can benefit from deeper water, but in this occasion I don't know whether that's really that much of a benefit. Okay, tell you what we'll do. We'll align the boat.
Come right to 072 helm I.
Align the boat east-northeast, and then we're going to fire my 3 torpedo tubes on the port side of the boat. He's going to hear those launches, and he looks like he is slipping to my south anyway. He's 7,000 yards. I need to get this thing going, and I cannot assume he's as close or as far away as we think he is. And he's going to have USET 80s, and those are as effective as my Mach 48s. There's a lot that could go wrong here. And yes, a lot has gone wrong for me in the past, engaging an Oscar and then a skipjack. Oh, my voice sounds a little creaky. I might have to get some more coffee. Let's take a sip of water, because water fixes most things, right? We'll see if it fixes this. Okay. We're getting good acoustics on him now. 22 decibels for my towed array and 15 on my passive sonar. He's getting reasonable acoustics on me. His passive's going to pick me up soon. He's 7 decibels. This is looking at the computer at the bottom right of the display. So,
Con, helm, steady course.
yeah, let's give this I don't want to let him get that much closer. So, okay, I know what I'm going to do. First things first, I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to pause the game. I'm going to grab some coffee, or maybe some tea, because, hey, I'm British after all. And we'll see, and then jump right back in it. But I think I'm going to fire when he gets to 6,000 yards estimated, and take it from there. Right, well, I'll be back. And welcome back. Okay, a period of time has passed in the real world, so let's reacquaint. Oh yes, I remember exactly where I am. Okay, so I've grabbed coffee. I was pretty much force-fed some cake. I really didn't want it, but I didn't really have that much of a choice. And the decision I'd taken was to fire when this bad boy was at 6,000 yards estimated range. And he is slipping more to my southwest. So let's make my course 095.
Come left to 045 helm I.
I think I said 095, I meant 045. Okay. So he might be traveling here. I think he is southwest. So I might want to skew my torpedo a little bit, give him a little bit of lead. But I think I'm just about ready to fire. So we'll go ahead and do the middle one, aimed, let's do 3,500 yards, give or take. Well, let's hit it, because he's going to hear it. He's going to fire at me.
Steady course.
Right, let's get my speed to 15 knots first, and then hit it.
Make turns.
Alright.
15 knots.
I saw
Maneuvering
that.
high.
We knew that was going to
Sonar,
happen.
Launch transient from Sierra 2.
Okay, that's what the November is then.
Con maneuvering. Making turns for
And the
1.
second
Con
one.
sonar. Launch transient from Sierra 2.
Go here. Alright, so I'm going to make this torpedo 2 live immediately. And I'm going to hit the crank it on.
Con sonar. We are cavitating.
And get my depth. Given that they've both counter-fired at me, I don't want to mess around here.
Fire control, we've lost the wire.
Yep, I figured that. So, one tweak I did make
300 feet.
to the submarine, to the skipjack, was I've given. Oh,
Passing
yes.
400 feet.
I forgot about that.
Passing
It's top
500 feet.
top speed is 33 knots as
Con
opposed
sonar.
to just 30.
Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 301.
Passing
Okay.
700 feet.
So, whoa, what's happening now is I'm exceeding my test
Passing
depth.
800 feet.
Con sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 232.
Momentary distraction, and there we go.
0 feet. Dive by.
Right, so what's happening there is the Oscar, he also has standoff anti-submarine torpedoes.
Con knuckle formed.
nasty, nasty torpedo, or nasty way of delivering the weapon to me, which is drop it on my head, and that's what he's done twice. So I guess he had those two ready in the tubes. And what that means is I have a much bigger problem to deal with, because not only do I have the 2 torpedoes heading my way,
Con, knuckle formed.
I also have the 2 he pretty much pegged exactly where I was to deal with as well. Yay.
Con, maneuvering, making turns for 3 knots.
And that segues into, yes, the mod I made to the boat. I've given it a speed of 33 knots. Depending on where I look,
Con, knuckle formed.
that is its top speed. It's 30 to 33. Hey, I just went with 33. I figured Captain Numpty will be polishing his
sonar
boat.
lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 302. Contact is in the baffles.
Be asking his engineers to break the laws of physics and
Con,
get
knuckle formed.
the thing as fast as possible. So there we are.
Torpedo room.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 301.
Actually, that extra top speed will be useful for against an Oscar, because its top speed is 30 knots. Now,
Con, knuckle
it's a
formed.
much bigger boat, so its acceleration is not as good as mine, but the fact that we can only match speed means I won't be able to catch it in a tail chase. November is, I think, 25 knots. They're both heading away from me as well. 26 knots, my bad. Okay. Still a very capable weapon platform, just its weapons aren't great. And
Con, knuckle formed.
go. It's noisy. So even we're quieter than the November, but the Oscar is very quiet. Great sensors, quiet, fairly fast. Yeah, what's not to like?
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 296. Contact is in the baffles.
Con, knuckle formed.
So
Con, torpedo room. Tube 3 ready.
what's difficulty I'm going to face?
Con
That's-
sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 295.
The difficulty I'm going to face
Con, knuckle formed.
in the not too distant future is
Con sonar noisemaker bearing 300.
I'm being talked over a
Con
lot.
sonar Sierra 2 is cavitating.
So I'm being forced east. Now I can try and change my direction and
Con, knuckle formed.
evade these torpedoes well enough such that I can get them to my east and I'm heading west. But what that means is that the wire-guided torpedoes that the Oscars fired at me will be heading right east, so he knows where I am.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing 298.
I'm making a ton of noise, and even if I wasn't making a ton of noise, those 2 torpedoes behind
Con,
me
knuckle formed.
are pinging away, and so he knows where I am.
Fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
So, I don't particularly want to necessarily go into the line of fire here, but I would like a better shot at not being in the vicinity of those USET 80s when they go live. There's a little wheeze that you can do.
Con, knuckle
It
formed.
doesn't work in cold waters, but it does work in a lot of the stock games. I'll try it now. Switch to your boat view, like so, and you can see the torpedoes behind you. Great. Very shiny, and they are as well.
Con, knuckle formed.
But you
Con
can
sonar
also see
noisemaker bearing 292.
other torpedoes. And that looks like there are 2 torpedoes
Con, knuckle formed.
directly west of me, and one of them is heading in my direction, it looks like. Okay. They are slipping behind me, but that is probably 2 torpedoes from the Oscar heading my way. And he may have broken his wire now. Let's see. No, he can still hear me. Switch back to that view. So, yeah, he can still hear me. So he can very easily fire off. Well, he has to slow down first. Although, there we
Con,
are.
knuckle formed.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing 286.
Okay, so What I was trying to say was I want to get out of the area where his torpedoes are expecting me to be in, because evading a torpedo is way easier if it hasn't acquired you.
Con, knuckle formed.
And of course 2 had acquired me. They are 3,000 yards away. They're close, but I think we've done enough.
Con, knuckle formed.
Okay. I think I've done enough to be out of their sensor
Con
range.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 281.
Possibly turning more north was a sensible choice. It certainly helped. All right. On UGMT, I think it's UGMT 1. I think has been destroyed. The other one will be a few
Con,
seconds
knuckle
away.
formed.
Okay.
Rig ships for ultra quiet.
Drop to ultra quiet. Probably gonna want to support my torpedoes
Con,
on the
knuckle
way.
formed.
Let's keep them defensive. 3 torpedoes between 2 targets should be enough, and it looks like they're both engaged. Let's give myself a few seconds. Let's get my speed 5 knots.
Come right to 000. Helm aye.
Alright, that's a couple of torpedoes. Now it looks like he may have just fired at me. Or... no, that's another torpedo. I wonder if that's one of mine.
Con,
Yes, it is.
helm, steady course.
The blue trail shows that those 3 are mine. So I
Con
guess
sonar, noisemaker bearing 276. Con sonar regained contact on master 3 bearing 302.
so. The one that went further north is not tracking anything. It might go for that trawler. I would hope not, but it might do. Looks like the other 2 torpedoes have potentially acquired something. I'm not sure why one is yellow and one is white. Maybe the white means it's acquired something. There's a handbook, I could probably check it, but I want to fire another one. Yeah, I think I do. Just because some distance away.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
Because if I keep them defensive, he's not going to slow down and fire back at me.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 274.
He still absolutely can, don't get me wrong, because the torpedo's got to travel 13,000 yards to get to his vicinity before it can really threaten him. But if he detects it, which hopefully he hasn't, but he might do, he's going to try and get out of the way. He's heading south, it looks like, so let's preempt that. Get my torpedo further south of me. I'm also going to do the same with my boat as well.
Come left to 214. Helm aye.
Oh, it looks like we might have just got him with 1. But he has not sunk.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
But that's what I mean. So you see, now he's fired at me, or he's fired at my torpedo. Either way, I'm pretty much in the same direction. So stop my turn. Let's crank it up 15 knots.
Turns for 15 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Gonna head northwest. Yeah, it looks like 2 Mark 48, so I've not done anything.
Con, maneuvering. Making turns for 15 knots.
One is simply orbiting. Let's take a look. Oh, I can't see him anymore. Okay, let's F3. Let's take a look. That's one of his torpedoes. That's one of mine. Traveling in a straight line. That's probably the one I just launched.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 268.
This one looks like it's just circling. Oh, no, it's picked something up. Okay. What's this one? That's one of his. Oh yeah, those are the 2 to my south now. Okay. Alright, back to me. See what I mean by there? That's a torpedo. That's probably mine going away from me, and I don't see his. But I may. Alright, map you. Okay, so it looks like that Mark 48 has actually detected the Oscar, and it looks like I can get a good view of him, so let's take a look. And there he is. See any damage? Oh, I do now. Alright, So he's taking a hit, but he's still
Con
very much
sonar,
functioning.
noisemaker bearing 265.
And he's gone. Okay. He's 1,200 feet, but his test depth is 2,000 feet, assuming he's in perfect conditions. So he could sit on the seabed and not be destroyed, which is nice. But is he damaged now? We have a good idea where he was, which is pretty much there. I'm doing 15 knots because I think I was fired upon, so I want to keep that speed on for just a period of time. It's going to help that November has got, they're not wire guided, so I don't think they are.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 263.
No, just acoustic. And it's only, call it 1,000 yards, it's 80 yards. Those torpedoes are not a massive threat, but they're still a threat because they absolutely could wreck my day. Primary target is the Oscar. If I have to take out the November 2, I will. If I don't have to, I won't. What's the November fired? Right past the Oscar.
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 264. Contact faded.
I think I kind of want to head off the Oscar towards coming right at me. Can he detect me? No. But he's still doing nearly 30 knots, so he's still got it cranked. Okay, so you see how
sonar,
this...
noisemaker bearing 261.
This torpedo that's just northwest of the Oscar.
180.
That appears to be the Z-65. So I can fairly easily, I don't actually have to be quite so extreme, I can just go ahead and head west. Let's get my speed back down to 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Immediately we see my Mark 48 chasing this Oscar, it looks like. And he's being sandwiched between a couple of torpedoes. And if he's sunk, if he's destroyed, I'll keep the new torpedo, the fresh torpedo, heading off towards Sierra 2. I can chase him off if not sink
Con
him.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 25.
Hey, we got him.
Con maneuvering. Making
There he
turns
is.
for 5 knots.
Sorry, Ivan. You're too big a threat to be allowed to continue your mission. Okay, so now we have the challenge of hunting and tracking down this November-class boat. Let's go ahead and head south, not so much to avoid the torpedo.
Come left to 180.
To get my towed array listening to him. Now, we can detect his active sonar emissions, and he's probably going to detect that torpedo soon, so let's accelerate time. Let's go ultra silent.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Ultra quiet.
Con sonar, regained
There he is.
contact on Sierra 2, bearing 262.
He's not heading away from me. No, he's not yet.
Steady course.
Now I think he is. Yeah, I think he's had enough. Okay. Would like to make this torpedo live, my torpedo. But I think, yeah, he's a bit too close to the Oscar. He might detect the Oscar and go ahead and attack it. So let's get forward.
Con sonar, lost
Oh.
contact. Master 3, last bearing 309. Contact breaking up.
Oopsie, because that was almost certainly my weapon, and I don't see a nationality on there. Oh, that's a genuine shame. I hope it wasn't, well, it doesn't matter what nationality it was, a civilian, so. Alright, let's crank this thing on. He's some distance away, the November, but this Mark 48 might chase him down, so let's accelerate time. Long chase. So this torpedo will do 55 knots when it's chasing, but he's going to do 26, so it's able to catch, but just eventually. Could try pinging with my...
noisemaker
I don't need to.
258.
I see exactly where he is now.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 257.
He does not have aneroic coating,
Con,
and
fire
so
control, weapon acquired.
I'm going to use the active sonar on this torpedo. And sorry, Ivan, you did fire upon me at least once, so we're going to have to take you out.
Con, fire control, weapon
Or
acquired.
at least scare you enough so you head back east. Right, let's watch this engagement. So we'll move the map. He's turning towards the torpedo, maybe. No, he's turning away. I'll hardly tell. I can't see nothing. What's going on here then? He's almost setting the noisemaker me in just a second or two, but I'm going to steer around
sonar,
it.
noisemaker bearing.
There it goes.
2, 5,
So,
6.
go ahead and steer starboard. I'm going to come round on his backside. Come round on his ears.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
No, reacquired him and it lost it immediately. Okay. It's alright. I'm going to swing round behind this noisemaker. Well, noisemaker. Kind of made me think of... no, I don't have a vote, so I'm not going to comment
fire
on
control, weapon
American
acquired.
politics.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
But I think it'd be funny if the Secret Service had
Con
a
sonar, noisemaker bearing. 2, 5, 5.
code name for various politicians, and one of them was called the noisemaker. Right, pretty much he's done for. We're going to hit him towards
Con, fire
towards the
control,
ass.
weapon acquired.
There we go.
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing. 2, 5, 6. Contact breaking up.
Good night, Russia. Right, well, I've got my torpedo 2 being reloaded. I'm going to get back up to periscope depth. Switch back to me, like so. So we're heading up to periscope depth right now. And that was a successful engagement, and I wouldn't say I was that aggressive on that trip. I was probably too aggressive because I sunk that trawler. I hope they got out. I don't know what nationality that boat is. Yeah, I regret that. Even if it was a Russian trawler, and I don't think it was one of the imagine the air quotes here, a Russian fishing trawler. The Russians in the 80s, certainly 70s, 80s, possibly the 90s, had fishing trawlers that were not fishing trawlers. They were ELINT boats. Excuse me, they were electronic warfare platforms covered in antenna and listing devices. Wouldn't necessarily want to sink one of those. Anywho, hope you got something from this. It was an interesting battle. Oscars are always challenging, especially in the early game, and especially when you're in an older boat like a Skipjack. But we did okay. We trusted our Mark 48s, and well, they kind of did their job. No, they did. So I'm happy with that. Well, thanks so much. Hope you got something from this, and maybe I'll see you the next time. Goodbye.